13 News Now at 5 starts with a search for a young girl, a search that turned into a much different investigation. I'm David Allen.
I'm Janet Roach. Court documents say Lavelle Mayfield took sexually explicit pictures of the missing teen, but he also had thousands of other explicit images of children on his cell phone. Mayfield is now in the Chesapeake City Jail on related charges. 13 News Now reporter Evan Watson is digging into the documents tonight.
This search warrant shows how the case escalated. Investigators eventually found about 40,000 sexually explicit images of what appeared to be juveniles on Mayfield's phone. Lavelle Mayfield is in Chesapeake City Jail on 9 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Court documents say an investigation into a missing 16-year-old girl led police to Mayfield's Portsmouth home. According to the Chesapeake Police search warrant, police found about 40 sexually explicit images of the teenage girl on his cell phone.
That's wrong, period. That's wrong, period.
The warrant says GPS data shows the pictures were taken at his Portsmouth house. The teenage girl was safely returned home 1 day before Virginia State Police arrested Mayfield. A Portsmouth man walking by Mayfield's home Tuesday said he couldn't believe it.
That's sad. That's sad. That's honestly sad. Like, why would somebody want to, I don't know.
Mayfield is a registered sex offender. Court documents say investigators also found about 40,000 images of what appeared to be other juveniles on Mayfield's phone. The search warrant says the SIM card in Mayfield's phone was likely used in other phones before it was transferred into Mayfield's phone. Brinkley says the whole situation is disgusting.
We should be way better than that. I mean, that's honestly wrong, you know. You want to be the goal. Wherever you go, you want it to be good, but you don't want little things like this happen.
Mayfield's next court date is listed for June 3rd. We are still working to find out if more charges will be filed in this case or if it's still under investigation. Police made the discoveries and the arrest in February of this year. Evan Watson for 13 News Now.
Turning to our weekend weather, if you look live around the area, you'll see cloudy skies, and those clouds are bringing storms with them. Jeff, we could see rain overnight?
Yeah, in a few spots. I certainly don't think most of us are going to see rain, but there is a lot of rain in Central Virginia right now, some severe weather there, Central North Carolina. So we have some of those high, thin clouds moving in, sort of filtering the sunshine. Temperatures today started out above normal. In fact, we're typically upper 60s for a high, and we were low 60s for a low this morning. So not that far off from a typical afternoon temperature. And then, as you can see, readings soared way up as expected into the upper 70s and even near 80 degrees. I mentioned Central Virginia, some of the severe weather out there. Look in portions of Central Virginia, a thunderstorm and a really big cluster of thunderstorms down in North Carolina. These are generally moving not quite due north, but sort of northeasterly. So we've seen a few very, very light and isolated showers in parts of the area, especially north and west throughout the afternoon. Now through the evening, some of this could potentially clip a few locations in the 13 News Now viewing area, but most of us aren't going to see any rain until a little bit later tonight, and I'll show you that. And even then, not everybody will see it. So 76 is the current temperature. Winds, though, very brisk out of the south right now, 20 miles per hour. Winds have been gusting over 30 miles per hour. So tonight, notice the rain chances do start to go up as you get after midnight and into the overnight time frame, with a few isolated to maybe even scattered at times showers or storms. But really for this evening, unless you're talking, and this is for most of the sort of the 7 cities, unless you're talking very far western parts of the viewing area, we just see warm temperatures and very low rain chances. I'll be back talking about the rest of the weekend outlook when I come back in a few minutes.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Now to a developing story in Newport News. State police said there were 2 separate and deadly crashes at the same interstate exit in less than 2 hours. One car went up in flames at the Jefferson Avenue exit of I-64. Crews had to lift it out of a ditch. 13 News Now reporter Nico Clements spoke to friends of one of the victims.
Yeah, Janet, this is a tragedy for 2 families. Friends are heartbroken, but so is the community. Both men who died last night were part of the muscle car community here in Hampton Roads.
He was my brother, you know what I'm saying? He helped me through a lot of things.
A community is devastated.
I think he cared a little more about other people more than he cared about himself.
2 deadly crashes in Newport News. Tajay Ravell and Stephen Roberts, both part of a muscle car club in Hampton Roads. State troopers say Thursday night, Lavelle lost control getting onto the Jefferson Avenue exit ramp. He ran off the road and hit a rock wall. His car went up in flames. As police were investigating that first crash, they say Roberts crashed his car just a couple of feet away. Police say Roberts lost control, hit a guardrail, then ran into a lake.
Like, if he was in a bad mood, he always look at the positive. That's why I stayed around him.
I spoke with a few of Roberts' friends today. They say he was part of Street Predators. Raphael Gibbons is the founder of the car club.
We were really like family. You know, a lot of us military, a lot of us not from here, you know, so we mostly spend time with each other to make up for that.
Gibbons describes Roberts as caring, someone who had a heart for everyone he met.
He was always humble. He was an outgoing, happy person.
And that's what they'll miss about Roberts, someone who put others first.
Wherever he went and whatever room he walked into, he could get along with anybody in that room.
Gibbons says they're holding a candlelight in Hampton tonight for Roberts and Lavelle, and of course they're going to ride out for them tonight as well. Live in Newport News, I'm Nico Clemens, 13 News Now.
One crash likely causing another in Suffolk this morning. We're told a tractor trailer carrying logs went off the road this morning on Whaleyville Boulevard around 7 o'clock. The truck tried to avoid hitting a car that was involved in a different accident. The truck didn't lose any of the logs and no injuries have been reported. In Nags, a popular shop went up in flames today. Look at this fire right there. It's at the Christmas Mouth on South Croton Highway. Here's another look. Firefighters kept the road closed for several hours, but they just reopened it. You can see the whole building is engulfed in flames. Those flames started around 2 o'clock this afternoon. No reports of any injuries, but the shop, as you can see, total loss.
After more than 3 decades in education, the superintendent of Suffolk Schools is retiring. Dr. Darren Whitney announced at a school board meeting last night he's stepping down. He's been with Suffolk Schools since 2010. His last day will be September 1st. Dr. Whitney said his time with Suffolk has been rewarding and that he appreciates what he experienced with everyone on the school board. He went on to say that he has mixed emotions about this decision, but is looking forward to what's next.
It was a story that grabbed our attention. A pregnant woman in Chesapeake told police she had a miscarriage after her boyfriend punched her repeatedly. Now, she's changing her story. She says the whole thing was a misunderstanding and that she didn't lose her baby. 13 News Now reporter Stephen Graves spoke with her. Steve?
Yeah, when we first had the story yesterday, some paperwork indicated that that fetus had died. Well, the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office cleared that up. She told me the boyfriend is charged with attempted murder. The woman says the baby is fine. The report she made was false and made out of anger. And I spoke with a domestic violence victim advocate today who says cases like this are not out of the ordinary. Dejan Payne works as a domestic violence victim advocate at the YWCA in Norfolk. She helps women navigate the criminal justice system.
There's a power differential between abuse victims and their abuser.
Sometimes that can cause a victim to change her story from what she first reported.
It's not rare that victims go from one way to another.
Payne says there are many reasons for it. Those include seeing the person you love behind bars after an arrest.
A lot of times going to jail isn't what they want to happen. They want to see happen to the person. They want them to get some type of assistance like batterers intervention classes or anger management classes or substance abuse classes.
One of the other issues is that abuse survivors could feel pressured.
They like, well, I said this before, but it maybe didn't happen this way. It might have happened this way and I misinterpreted this, but this is what I said, so now I feel like I have to say this. But you don't have to. You can say what you do or you don't remember.
Payne says she and others ultimately are here to give a survivor what she needs in the moment.
We just try to educate them the best on, like, these are your rights as a victim and this is what will happen with the case.
And Payne says recanting stories happen so often, most times victims do not get penalized for recanting those statements. I'll be listing more domestic violence victim resources on our website, 13newsnow.com. Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.